Good evening, godless sodomites.
As I think it is healthy for those who are religious to see that there is a contrary point of view.
Imagine no longer believing in God, in fact, even more boldly, being an atheist.
Push the atheist too far, and you're going to have an atheist movement. The atheists are going to fight back, and you might not want that. So be careful what you wish for, Christians.
You are tuned in to yet another podcast from the Angry Atheist.
I'm attempting conversation here with you.
You're gonna eat your babies!
Hello, godless sodomites, and God-fearing sodomites too, I'm sure. Welcome to the Angry Atheist podcast. My name's Reep. Yeah, I have this strange feeling we might have some people who aren't atheists that are going to be listening to the podcast. The podcast isn't about anger. It's about clearing up misconceptions people may have about atheists and how they are normal people. I've had guests on that are well-known and some not so well-known, and one common thread is they've all been humans. And I think most of the people listening will be human also. I could be wrong. The show isn't trying to convert you or to convince you there isn't a God. The purpose of the show is to educate people as to exactly what an atheist is, what kind of person they are. Atheists are out there. We're not out to do anybody harm, and we're just people. If you enjoy the show, make sure you share it with your friends and neighbors. You can find me on Twitter at @OneAngryAtheist. If you'd like to hear more, I've got several things going on at all times, it seems like, and the place you can find those things is at godlessradio.net. Just go to godlessradio.net, and there you go. And if you'd like to send me hate mail, you can also find my email address. I'm not telling you what it is, though. I'm not going to make it easy for you. If you're going to send me hate mail, you've got to work for it. I'm sorry. Now I'll shut the big hole into my nose, and we can continue with the podcast. I'd like to thank my guest, Bree Olson, because she accepted right away. We got it recorded, and here you go. This is what the conversation sounded like. How are you?
I'm good. I just got done taking my cat to the vet, so Dr. Sniffles is at the vet right now.
How's the weather where you're at?
It's nice. I'm in West Hollywood, so it's like always the same. It doesn't really change, which is kind of creepy coming from Indiana. Yeah. Things are so different, so it's just always the same. It's like never too hot, never too cold.
You're in Hollywood, so that's south of me. I'm not supposed to like you because I'm in Northern California.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we have that rivalry thing going on.
Yeah, you know, it really should be split into two different states. I mean, I like Northern California, but I like anything better than Southern California. Are you kidding me? I hate Southern California, but
yeah,
Northern
is different. Northern, I think, is it's different. I like it better, but I wouldn't say that it's better than Southern California because I have fun down there too. It's just a different kind of fun you have down there than we have up here.
It's more chill up there. There's too much going on here. Way too much. This is a nice place to visit.
Yeah, you're right. It is more chill. Do you think that people are more tolerant of alternative lifestyles in one than the other, or no?
Oh, here in California in general, or
just northern versus southern. Do you think that there's a tolerance difference there, or is it just the culture, like the laid back, a little more relaxed?
I think that California altogether is a lot more accepting because you got San Francisco up there too. Yeah. So it's just a lot more accepting of everything. The boyfriend that I have here, it's my first California boyfriend as opposed to everyone I had dated in Indiana. So when I met his parents and everything, I was really worried because of my past career and all that. But his mom was so chill and like open about everything. And it's totally different compared to meeting the parents back in Indiana, the Bible Belt and all that. So
Yeah. You grew up in Indiana?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot different there. I know that.
A lot different, for sure.
Yeah. But there's parts of California that are a lot like Bakersfield. Reminds me of what Indiana would be, you know, because they're Bakersfield. They're little. It's almost like our own little Bible Belt, which is kind of weird because we kind of, I don't know. It's like you almost drive someplace else. Fresno's one place. I don't know if you've been to those places, but stay away from them.
Okay.
Don't go to Bakersfield. Don't go to Fresno. Well, actually, you can go there to visit, but just expect it to be a little bit different because it's weird.
yeah, anything outside of Indiana is still foreign to me, so this is all new.
Oh, yeah. I guess we're on recording already, so you probably should introduce yourself so that people know who I'm talking to. And I usually let the guests do that because I screw it up if I try to do it myself.
It's Bree Olson, yay!
I'm glad you accepted my offer to do the show. It was quick too. I didn't screw around.
No, I don't mess around. I'm like, let's get this done.
Get to it.
Yeah, I finally cut out all of my agents and everything because I'm like, I've been doing this for 7 years. And, you know, if you go through agents and all that, it's going to be like 2 weeks before you get an interview done, you know, because you have to go back through the channels and it's all this riffraff. And I'm like, you know what, just send the email straight to me. I get them right on my phone so I can do it, you know, anytime. I can be doing anything and do business at the same time. And it works out perfectly. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool what your phone can do, isn't it, these days? God damn. Phone can do anything. It can. I was talking about that today on Twitter about how it's just replaced everything. So many places have went out of business. You know, like people don't buy watches anymore. That's something I was thinking about. I'm getting ready to go on a vacation to Australia, and we don't want to have our phones with us. And I'm like, okay, if we don't have our phones, what are we going to need? And I'm like, oh my gosh, a watch. Like, who has a watch anymore? I know I don't. Most girls don't. It's more of a guy thing, I think, if they do have watches. Yeah. But the calendar on the wall, nobody does that anymore. It's on the phone. Like, everything. I don't know. I'm so glad that I don't have to wear a watch anymore because I remember wearing a watch. I just always hated wearing a watch. I felt like a nerd when I was wearing a watch for some reason. Yeah, no, they're silly, but we're going to be on vacation, so we don't care. I look like a nerd. I don't care. It was like a status symbol for a long time, too. I guess it still is for some people. So I was wandering the internet, and I don't usually watch porn because I'm so wholesome. But I came across your name, and I was reading an article about you, and they were talking about that you were an atheist. And I was like, wow. You know, people don't usually. There's not a lot of people that are people who are in the public eye that come out as. I mean, there's some, of course, but there's not a lot that come out as atheists. So it's always I've always kind of wondered why is it because they are afraid that it's going to be a backlash against them, or they just don't care, or what? Yeah, I think it's, you know, all about being politically correct and not making people upset and all that. I'm pretty strongly opinionated on everything that I feel, and I'm not afraid to speak it. And I know that some people aren't going to like it, but it is what it is. I mean, even me being a vegan, people attack me for it on Twitter. They'll be like, well, you're killing vegetables and doing this. I'm like, well, you don't have to believe what I believe. Geez, I'm just... You know, say it. Like, I'm not being like conform or else. I'm like, you know, this is just what I do. But yeah, people, they love to tear other people apart for it. So I don't really blame people for not wanting to put it out there if they are. Yeah. Because the public is just stupid. They just want to, you know, automatically, it's fear inside them that they feel like, oh, you're different. I have to attack you now. Yeah, it's weird how people, they don't even know you. If they don't know a person, that's why I do the podcast I do now, because to try and get people to understand that because somebody's an atheist doesn't mean that they're going to eat babies and that they're going to do this and they're going to do that. They have all these preconceptions. Same things with gays, you know. And, it's like I don't need the fear of God in me to make me a good person. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't it creep you out when somebody says, where do you get your morals from if you don't believe in God? Where do you get your morals? It's like, wow. I'm like, what? Exactly. It's like, you know, I'm sorry that you have to, you know, go by a book to tell you what's right from wrong. I just know, you know. The only thing that keeping that person from stabbing you in the eye is his belief in God. They're kind of creepy, you know. Yeah. Those are the type of people you don't want to be atheists. You're like, don't ever be an atheist, because if you're, you know, if they did, they'd be just running rampant through the streets, just kicking things and breaking things and punching people in the face, and it's just weird. If it wasn't for that Bible, they wouldn't be able to control themselves. They just go out of control and just start doing it. You know, I don't even know how it came to be for me, because I grew up in such a Catholic environment, and everyone around me, you know, even if they weren't Catholic, everyone was very, very Christian. And I don't know. It was always just so hard for me to believe any of that. That's what I was going to ask you. Especially, yeah, and then just going to school, you know, and learning about evolution and everything. I'm like, well, this makes a lot more sense. Like, so it was from really early on that I'm like, no, you know, I'm not really going along with it. I'm sorry. I questioned it way too much. Now, did your parents drag you to church? Yeah, I went to church all the time. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind the sense of community and everything.
Yeah.
But it's under false pretenses. I think that there should be communities like that aren't, maybe there are, I don't know, you could tell me if there's like atheist communities or whatever, but
yeah,
I think it's cool. So I think it's cool when people can, get together and, do things for one another and everything, but I'm not going to go, to a God church, because I don't believe in that, but, no, I believe in the community and, people helping each other out and all that.
Yeah, that's one of the things about church that I've always kind of made a point that it does provide a social outlet for people, especially people that are in small towns, where they're isolated, where the church is involved in, and you'll know about this, I mean, the church is involved in all the social activity that goes on in the town. I mean,
exactly.
It is the
so if you're not part of that, then it's almost like you're banished from the community if you're not part of it.
Exactly. So if you are an atheist in a small town, then you've got to do things that are involved with the church or do nothing.
Exactly.
And then it's like not only do you feel uncomfortable, but the rest of the town would look down. I mean, how big was it? Was it a big town or a small town that you grew up in or around?
Oh, the smallest town in Indiana, called Woodburn, Indiana. It's right on the borderline of Ohio there, the state line. So, I mean, not even a stoplight, nothing. So, and I mean, I went to the public school. There was a public and a private. And even the public school, it was very, very Christian. Like, most of our teachers wouldn't let us celebrate Halloween because they said it was the devil's holiday. So it was very, very strict, even though it was public schooling.
Yeah. Wow. Even the Halloween thing going on there, that's kind of weird, too. It's that one thing I don't understand. I never understood why they were so against Halloween, because it was a pagan holiday when you've got Christmas, and it's a pagan holiday, too,
Right. That's another thing. That's probably the most irritating thing, is that people that call themselves Christians, they like to choose what to believe. Whatever fits for them is what they pick. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this about all Christians. I have met some of the best Christians I've met. They're the ones that don't push their beliefs on other people, and they actually abide by everything that they're supposed to be doing. But, those are the best ones that I've met, where they're like, okay, you are the way you are. I'm not going to talk. They don't even bring it up. They just show people by the way that they live that's, what they're comfortable with, and that's their religion, and, that they're really happy like that. And I'm like, go you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But the people that get the most offensive are the ones that are probably the worst Christians. And when I say worst, the ones that aren't following their own religion, and they just pick and choose.
And do you think that there's a war on women in the country right now?
Oh, a war on women?
Yeah, by the Republicans.
What's going on?
Trying to control what women can do with their bodies and kind of dictate to them what they can do, as far as like abortion and birth control.
Oh, right. I was thinking about that, and there's already, I don't know if you heard about what happened in India with all the power control, and they were like, all of that combined, that's like 100 times what the people that we have in the U.S. right now, and their power went out. And it's like, it's such a population control, like the population problem. And I'm not saying, let's do abortions for population. That's the worst thing in the world. But what I am saying is that there's already so many children that need to be adopted, that are in, these horrible foster homes, getting raped, molested, beaten, abused, and all that. And so why are we going to force women that already don't want these children to bring them into the world and to go through more systems like that? Yeah. And I don't think that that's right. And also, it's just going to be killing more women, because if they can't do it legally, they're going to go do it illegally, which is, so harmful and, could potentially kill them. Because that's the way that it was before. Before it was legal. And I think that, women are entitled to have a choice. And I think it's a horrible thing. Nobody wants to do it. No woman is like, let me go purposely get pregnant.
Exactly, because they act like it's just something that women just go, oh, I think I'll just have an abortion. And there's no woman having an abortion that's just that flippant, just that easy. You know what I mean? It's a serious mental thing that you have to go through mentally. I mean, I'm not even a woman. I can understand at least what they have to go through. I can't know the exact feeling, but I can understand the process you'd have to go through, you know, and it has to be difficult.
Right. Yeah, and it's like it's difficult enough, you know. Don't make it even worse than what it is. So it's a choice, and women need to be able to make that, and we need to think about, you know, the children and what they would go through, you know, being forced to be brought into this world, and that's a horrible thing. So it's just like every year the government gets more and more strict, and there's more and more laws, and it's like, oh my gosh, especially like just since the 60s, it just seems so dramatic of everything that's happened. It's like a completely different country since then.
Yeah.
And it's like, when is it going to stop?
Yeah, it seems like we're going backwards in a lot of ways.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Did they teach creationism in school when you went to school?
The creationism? Like,
yeah, that God created everything.
Oh, yeah. No, that's all we talked about. Bible studies all the time and everything. Yeah, it was totally, that was everything. But, you know, like I said, they didn't even tap on evolution until they absolutely had to by law when we started high school. And, you know, they kind of dabbled in it just a little bit, just enough. But, you know, I'm the kind of kid that I would take my book home and read all the stuff that the teacher wouldn't talk about, too. Yeah. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this is what they're keeping from us. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, that other stuff didn't make sense that they've been trying to push into my brain for years, but this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah. I know they. I saw a video where they had the Miss America pageant contestants answering questions, and they asked whether they thought that creationism should be taught in schools, and there was only like 5 of them that said that they thought creationism shouldn't be taught. That they should push. If they wanted to teach it, they should teach it in history class, you know, or something of that nature. Where it's, if you want to teach it, then you teach it as a counter to evolution, but you don't teach it in biology class because it's not an alternative to it, really. You know, it's more of a social thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I thought it was kind of it kind of bothered me that there were so many girls that were didn't know that evolution was you know, it's very factual. I mean, there's nothing that's going to come along and prove that evolution is wrong or incorrect. Things really didn't evolve. No. We're at that point, you know. And it just bothered me that there were so many girls that they weren't being taught the real science. You know, they were still being kind of brainwashed a little bit, I guess, or just ignorant.
Well, as most of the world, most of the world, as most of the world is, you know, brainwashed by religion and everything. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I don't try to piss on people's dreams with it. It's like, I mean, even my boyfriend is a Christian, and I kind of look at it like, I wish that I was still under that ignorance and bliss of thinking that when I die, I'm going to go to heaven and see my loved ones and everything. It's like believing in Santa Claus. You don't want to be the kid that goes to school and like, oh my God, you know, my Christmas is ruined from here on out. Let me ruin yours too, you know?
Wait a minute. Are you saying Santa Claus isn't real? Did you say Santa Claus? Great.
You're like, first the Easter Bunny and now this.
That's just fucking great. Thanks a lot.
But,
no, it's like Jesus is like a Santa Claus for adults. I mean,
it really is. It really is.
And I wish there was a heaven, you know.
What is that one movie called where he writes the scripture on the pizza box and he shows it to everyone? It's such a great movie, and it just it is so perfect to describe how Christianity came up.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I could remember the name, but it's one of my favorite movies, and I always try to get my Christian friends to watch it.
Yeah.
And they're always like, I don't get it, and I'm like, oh, whatever. It's perfect. It's how it really happened. But okay.
Funny. So you said your boyfriend's a Christian?
Yeah.
Do you guys ever talk about religion, or you just leave it alone?
I mean, we have, but all my other boyfriends have been Christian too. So it's like I used to be in like hardcore, deep conversations with them, like trying to be like, how, because, you know, it's, you want to be on the same page as someone else, you know, but it's like I got to the point, like I had this one boyfriend for 4 years, and he was, you know, Catholic through and through, and we talked and talked and talked, and there was just no changing his mind. There just wasn't. They're just if they want to believe, they're going to believe. Yeah. So it's the point I've gotten to, and, you know, it goes back to also me saying, I don't want to ruin it for people if they want to believe in that. You know, I don't want to start putting doubts in their head and everything. So just go ahead and believe, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care.
And I think some people, they need to kind of, because life does suck. Life is kind of unfair. You know, it's kind of fucked up. And you want to think there's something better after this because of, you know, crappy life or unfortunate things that happen to you. You know, people lose their loved ones and their children and people that they care about pass away, and they want to think they're going to see those people again. So, you know, it's kind of, you can understand why they'd have those beliefs or hold on to them, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't want to take that away from anybody.
Yeah. The only thing that bothers me is when people let those beliefs affect my life and my kids and the way I'm living. You know, I don't want them to force those things on me. Is all I'm worried about.
Right. Right. We already talked about it when it comes to the children and everything. One of the best things is that we're here in California, so it's one of the most, you know, you can send them to private schools as well, where it's not going to be any type of religious base. In Indiana, that is your only option. The only private schools, it's all religious based. Because I called around, you know, trying to find out, because I was planning on raising a family in Indiana. And I remember calling around, and even the one that said that they were, you know, non-denominational, they didn't do any of that, I called them, and they're like, no, we still have, you know, prayer and everything each day. And I'm like, no. I'm like, well, what if I wouldn't want to send my child to that? And they're like, well, we have people from all different religions come, and we just all still go and pray. And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, okay.
Great. Now, how come you want to raise your kids in Indiana? You wouldn't want to raise them in California, or no?
No, I mean, well, now that I have my boyfriend here, and his family's in Northern California, so we definitely want to stay here now. But before I had met him, you know, when I was engaged before in Indiana, and so, you know, I was calling around about schools and everything. Yeah. But, it's nice to be out here now. I think it'll be a lot better for the kids and everything.
Yeah, bring them up north, though. Don't leave them down. Don't bring them up down south. It's too wild down there.
No, it is. It's too much going on.
I mean, there's still, you got, like, crazy shit going on up here, too, because I live in the Bay Area, so it's not like, you know, it's still a large metropolitan area. We still have problems with gangs and all that crap, but we don't have the Hollywood element, I guess, is what's down there.
Right.
Yeah, Hollywood element's not going on. But there's still plenty of bad going on up here. Especially like in Oakland, you know, it's just...
I'm trying to think of what the city's called, where my boyfriend's family lives. I love it up there. Yeah. Name some cities up there.
You know, are they way up north or just like...
No, in the Bay Area.
Oh, in the Bay Area? Okay. Yeah, cool.
Name some. I'll know it up there if I hear it.
Because I live in Fremont, which is...
It's not Fremont.
Like in between San Jose and Oakland. Let me see what else we got. Yeah, we got mountain. There's so many places. It's weird because this is one of the few places, and I've driven all around the country, but one of the few places you can drive for hours, and there's no space in between the towns. They're all the cities. They're all stuck together. You know, you don't. If you drive like through Indiana, you got a little space in between the towns, right? Before you get to another one.
Oh gosh, it's like cornfields upon cornfields before you get to the next town.
Exactly. It's just not like that here. I mean, you drive for 3 hours and you feel like you've been in the same city, you know, if you look around. It's weird.
Weird here. It's because everywhere here is just considered LA, but it's really not. You drive and you don't even realize one minute you're in Hollywood, the next minute you're in, like, I don't even freaking know where. You know, it's just all different cities. And it's like, you could literally cross the street. You don't realize you're in a different city. It's weird as thing.
Yeah. Or in a bad neighborhood all of a sudden. You look around, you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't. This was a good street until I passed those railroad tracks.
Oh, yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. I'm like right here in West Hollywood. So it's like if I go one direction, it goes to straight hood of Hollywood. Yep. If I go the other, it goes to Beverly Hills.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to which direction you're going sometimes. Now, what about your parents? Are your parents still, obviously they're probably still religious, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What do they think about you? Do they know you're an atheist, and do they care if you're an atheist, or?
No, they don't really. They're not really strongly opinionated about it. They just, cool. They're like, it is, but I'm not close with them anyway, so it's like, whatever.
You have brothers or sisters?
I have a little sister. She's 16, and she is even more atheist than I am. I think that is possible.
All right.
I don't believe in anything. But it's so strange because her and I, and we're several years apart, so now we're finally starting to get close, but being 9 years difference, you can't really get close to someone, and now that she's a teenager, we can finally, talk or have some things in common, but up until this point, it was like everything was so different. So it was so strange to me that we went to the same school, same town, same parents, and we turned out so completely different. I mean, she's a complete 180 of me, but the one thing that we both have in common is that we have absolutely just no belief in anything.
Yeah, that's funny because that's the way kind of the atheist, I don't know if I'd say community, but atheists in general are like that, where they have this one thing in common. They don't believe in God, but everything else, they're different. Like you being a vegan, a lot of people just would like, wow, they have a problem with that. Or the PETA thing, a lot of people have a problem with PETA, but they're atheists, So you've got one thing in common, but you've got a clash on other things. So it's really tough. It's tough for them to get together as a group sometimes and get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been a vegan?
2 years now.
Yeah. So obviously you like it. You've been doing it for 2 years. Right.
Oh, I do. The first 2 months when I started, I lost 40 pounds in 2 months.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, gosh, this feels so great. Had the energy back of like a 15-year-old. But now I've been vegan so long, I've learned how to eat shitty food and still be a vegan. I can drink like Coca-Cola. Like I'll drink like 5 cans a day. So, now I put some weight back on and now I kind of feel like shit again. But up until then, when I was like, oh, yeah, let's just eat plants and fruit all day long, then it was great because, it was actually what I was supposed to be eating. But now I eat like crap, so.
Yeah.
You can still eat like crap. You can eat junk food and be a vegan. So I'm all up in my chips and pop.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know if I could do it. I like hamburgers too much.
I missed it. Actually, I didn't miss it at first. I thought that I was going to miss it. I thought that when I came back around, because I'm like, I kind of did what the Amish do, where they kind of like let their people go at 16 and they're like, okay, now you make the decision if you want to come back to our community or not. And I kind of tried that, like after I was a vegan for like a good solid year. I'm like, okay, let me go try and eat things again, because I didn't want to, because I was really, really strict with myself. Like I wouldn't even, if I found out there were traces of cheese in it, I wouldn't eat it, nothing. So I completely removed myself, went back into it. And was like, okay, I'm going to try things again. And I tried meat again. I was like, no, it just doesn't do it for me. I don't like it anymore. It tastes really weird. And, I mean, this is coming from, like, Indiana girl. Cows are slaughtered in my backyard.
Yeah,
like,
meat and potatoes.
I grew up.
Yeah,
every single meal. If it didn't have meat in it, I'm like, this isn't a meal. Like, what's the meat?
Exactly.
But now
what the hell is this crap?
Yeah. But, no, I don't have any desire. But I love my carbs, though. So I make up for it in lots of carbs, lots of potatoes and breads and lots of starches.
Yeah. Now, do you have to take like supplements or anything like that, or you get everything that you need out of the food?
Only thing is like B12, because I guess there's some type of bacteria in meat that vegans don't get naturally. But I've never taken it, and I'm still alive, and it's been 2 years, so I don't know.
So far, so good. So what the hell? Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, even, like, really strict vegans, because I read a lot of the books and follow a lot of vegans on the internet and everything, and they all say, make sure you're taking this, and I haven't, but I'm fine.
Yeah, it's almost like kind of a religious kind of following for it, isn't it, kind of, the vegan thing?
I mean, at first, it was a lot for me, because, and it was really great for someone like me, because I didn't have a belief in anything.
Yeah.
And so for me to finally have something to believe in and feel like I had the sense of community and felt like I was doing good for the world, but it's something that is actually true that I believe in, like it's a fact that if I do not eat this meat, it's going to save X amount of lives a year.
Yeah.
And it's the truth, and, people that do eat meat, fine, go for it, eat all the meat you want, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm saving X amount of lives a year, and I love animals, so that's what I'm going to do. That's my thing. And so it feels good to do that. But at first, I was, like, so extreme about it. And then I was like, okay, simmer down. So, I'll still say stuff to people sometimes, like, hey, you guys should try doing meatless Mondays or something.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm pretty chill.
And I think it's normal when you go all out, when you first get into something, you get all into it, and then as it becomes kind of familiar to you, you kind of chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
Get to a normal level or a level that's more natural, where you're not so extreme about it. Some people never get out of that, but most times you'll do that. It's normal.
Yeah.
Now, if you see a spider crawling across the floor, do you smash it or do you get a piece of paper and help it outside?
You know, it's so funny. My boyfriend just did a video of this, and I was like, we should put it on YouTube. But he was getting ready to kill the spider, and he was videotaping it because the cats were going after it, so he thought it was funny. And I came out, and I'm like, no, don't kill it. It's too big. I can see its life. I'm like, I have to save it. And he's like, well, you get it, then I'm not doing it this time. He's like, that one's scary. So I did. I put it in a cup and took it outside and released it. But, I mean, I'll kill a mosquito. I hate those things. They're wicked.
Those things are out to get you, those mosquitoes. I guess my thinking on that is it depends on the circumstances. There's times when a spider just needs to be killed. It's just nothing but trouble. It's never going to be anything but trouble. It just needs to go away, you know. It's just a circumstance, I think. Especially if it's a yellow spider crawling on my head. You know, you just kind of freak out.
Oh, like, gosh. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not like that. I'm not like, oh, don't kill a spider under any circumstance. But, I mean, if I'm not doing anything, and, you know, my boyfriend's just sitting there filming this poor little, and my cats they're good for nothing. They're just batting it around like little sissies. And I'm like, okay. I'm going to take this thing outside.
Now, I read somewhere that you were, had something to do with a band.
Oh, yeah, the band Tight. So this girl band, they came together, and gosh, this was forever ago when I first started with them and managing them and everything. And I am amazed by how well they've done and how far they've came along. I mean, I'm even impressed, and I'm the one that started out with them. And they've come a long way. They're doing really good. So
what's the name of the band again?
Tight.
Tight. It's
a name appropriate.
Yeah, yeah. And it's all porn stars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least they were. I don't know if they all still are or not.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were at one time. There's something, they're associated with it in some way, right?
Yeah.
At one time, yeah. And is all girls?
Yeah, all girl band.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they won. The Howard Stern, he did a little X Factor thing on his show, and they won that contest. And, I mean, it's hard to get past Howard Stern. These days, I just put a song out, and he just completely tore it apart on his station. I mean, I wasn't on the radio with them, thank goodness, because I probably would have started crying. But, yeah, he was just, like, tearing it apart. I'm like, oh, Howard. I'm like, I thought we had history here.
Yeah, you don't have to wonder what he's thinking about, usually.
No.
No, he usually lets you know. I find I have a bad habit of doing that, too, sometimes. It's like, because I do a radio show, too, on the side. I was telling people that I was going to interview for the podcast today, and somebody said, are you going to talk to her about PETA? I'm like, no, I'm not going to. Hope you're going to get on to her about PETA. No, I'm not going to do that. So chill out, guys. Some people are just, I don't know. I don't hear much about PETA lately, though.
No, they've kind of died down a little bit. Yeah. You know, people ask me about it, and it's like, I think that any organization that is doing something to help animals, and they do rescue tons and tons of animals, and there are some branches, because it's not like PETA is so big, there's so many different branches of PETA, and so there's some crazy things that some of the littler branches have done off of PETA, you know, that I've seen. I'm just like, holy cow, like what are they doing? But overall, I would have to say that, you know, they're still saving lives, so it's better than a non-existent organization that's not doing anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. What was I going to ask you about next? Oh, I was going to ask you about telling me about how you became an atheist, but I don't know. You kind of told me a little bit, but what about the process, the thinking process? How old were you before you started to think, oh, well, maybe this religion thing isn't exactly dead on right, or is this kind of some screw going on here?
Gosh, ever since I can remember, I want to say like 9, 10, I questioned it all the time. You know, anytime they talk about it at school, I'd go home, and I remember I'd talk to my parents and be like, I just ask so many questions, like, well, how could this be, or how could that be, or, you know, this part doesn't make sense. And I just remember doing that. And like I said, as soon as I learned about evolution, which everyone tried to hide from me with all their might, I was like, okay, this is it. This is definitely, you know, this makes sense. This is what's going on. And this is it.
Your family did the Santa Claus thing probably, right?
Yeah, they did Santa Claus. I was so devastated when I found out he wasn't real.
I was going to say, how old were you when you knew that Santa Claus, or you found out Santa Claus wasn't real?
I think I was like 7, probably, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like after that, it was just a downward spiral. Like, okay, what else isn't real now?
Yeah, it's kind of when you find out Santa Claus isn't real, that's kind of when the world changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of look at it a little bit different. Now, when you have kids, are you going to do the Santa Claus thing with them?
I am going to do it because it was just so freaking magical.
Yeah.
I would, even though I remember my disappointment like it was yesterday, I remember the magic too like it was yesterday. And I would not want to take that away from my kids. I know that the disappointment is going to suck too, but I don't want to take it away from them.
Yeah, I think it's fun to do too. I mean, I did Santa Claus with my daughter, and I use it as an opportunity to kind of teach her that some things that seem like they're real aren't really real.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, my daughter is very. She just doesn't believe in God at all. She's a very strong atheist. She gets pissed off because there's a Bible on the coffee table. Kind of atheist, where she just doesn't have any tolerance for it at all. I'm very proud of her for that.
Aww.
Yeah. So it's cool. She turned out pretty good. But the Santa Claus thing was fun. It was fun to do, and she kind of figured it out on her own, and it was a good conversation that we had when she found out. So, did you find out the Easter Bunny was not real at the same time?
No, I think I knew about that beforehand.
Okay. That poor Easter Bunny always gets a bad rap. Everybody always finds out he's not real first. Maybe it's because he's a giant rabbit. It could have something to do with it.
Well, the parents, they don't come up with as good of a story. Like, they have a whole, plot line for Santa Claus. The Easter Bunny, it's like, oh, okay, there's, like, little toys and eggs all around. Go get it. It's like, what? It's like, I'm confused. What's going on? And they don't have a backstory for it to support it. So, yeah, it doesn't last.
We should come up with a backstory for the Easter Bunny. Like,
a
giant had sex with a rabbit or something like that. Some kind of creepy story.
We have to plot it out.
Yeah. Some kind of creepy backstory to make it more believable, because that poor Easter Bunny just don't get a fair shake. I think the Tooth Fairy that's more believable because it's a fairy, so fairies just appear. Fairies are all over the place.
It's a lot harder to pull off the Santa Claus thing and all that these days now, though, because parents are all doing this, new hippie thing, like, I have to be honest with my kids all the time. They're like, so it's like, the kids are going to school at 5 years old, telling all the other kids, you're stupid, there is no such thing as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And it's like, ruins it for all the other kids.
Because kids are growing up faster.
I know.
Up faster. Especially the sex thing. You notice the sex thing? Kids don't have the hang-ups with sex. I know you're younger than I am, but when I was a kid, they didn't have the open-mindedness you have now with kids as far as sex goes. I mean, they're a lot more tolerant. There's a hell of a lot more bisexual guys and girls than there used to be.
Oh yeah.
And they're open. They don't. Nobody cares, and that's cool. But
I think that they're out of the closet now. I think that there's always been the same amount, but they were just afraid, because it was it wasn't tolerated at all.
Yeah, because I know now they don't care. They're just whatever, and I think it's good. But I don't understand how it came. I mean, maybe it's just, I don't know, we're just growing up as a society maybe and become, I don't know what it is. It's made them more open, but they sure are a lot more open. Their attitude about it's a little bit different too. They're more, I don't want to say promiscuous, but they're more, I don't know how to explain it exactly. They don't trip on it as much. Their sexual relationships, it seems like.
No, and it's good because the more taboo people try to make it, the more they're going to want to go do it. So, I was sneaking around like crazy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wouldn't have been such a big deal, maybe I wouldn't have thought about it as, I don't know, never mind. I'm just a horny person. I would have done it anyway.
You're just porn horny. Now, do you think that making things, telling kids they can't do things, that they're going to do it, is it going to make them more likely to do it? You don't have sex.
Yeah.
Don't have sex,
I think that. I think that if you tell someone not to do it, there's a lot of people that would be like, they just have that personality. Okay, you told me I can't, so now I want to.
Yeah, I know I'm like that. Just naturally. If somebody says you don't do that, you're going to go, well, screw you. I'll do whatever I fucking want. And it's something you wouldn't normally ever do at all. You're just going to go, well, I'm going to go do this now. Well, that's not like you. Well, I got to do it because they told me I couldn't. I got to go do it now. If I don't, I'll be letting myself down, And then you're doing it, and you're going, what the fuck am I doing this for? This is crazy. Yeah, I think that's true, too. You want to talk about politics, or do you care about politics?
I don't really. Oh, Danville is the name of it up north.
Oh, Danville, yeah, I know where that's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small town. Yeah, it's a good area up there. It's not that far away from me.
Yeah. Politics, I haven't really kept up at all. I don't know really what's going on.
You don't really want to know, to be honest.
Well, that's why I stopped following. I used to follow it really closely, and it's so upsetting to me, and seriously to the point where, I feel like I was getting ulcers, because I used to watch the news every single day, and I can't do it anymore. Isn't
it weird how the news, people seem to thrive on bad news instead of good news?
Yeah, no doubt about it. But, that's what people love the drama. People love to hear, people love to dwell and everything. And then, the news, it's amazing that the news isn't actually, real, or, it's not really that. It depends. Whatever the news wants to be relevant is what is relevant. And most people don't realize that. Yeah. So, the news picks and chooses what they want to, if they want to talk about it for 10 hours or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's so amazing. It's just so much brainwashing, too, is another thing about it. So
they kind of dictate what you want to care about. They tell you what you want to care about, what you want to care about, Now, they have, that's also going on with, what they're saying, I've heard stories about Walmart is controlling what people are buying. They have enough buying power now so that they can decide what's going to be popular and what's not going to be popular, or people are going to be exposed to. And some people are worried about them having that much power over what people can have available to them,
I don't shop at Walmart. I don't like Walmart. I've never shopped there.
Walmart's kind of a strange place to go to. I'm not going to say I don't go there, because the prices, the prices are good there, and there's some things, that basic things you need in life, that you just go there and buy them because they're cheap, because naturally people just want to buy things that are cheaper sometimes.
But I would, but honestly, well, first of all, in Indiana, we have this place called Meijer, which is Walmart's huge competitor, and they're better than a Walmart. It's an in-between Target and a Walmart. If they had a baby, they made a Meijer. And so Meijer was great, so I really loved them. And then being out here in Hollywood, we don't have Walmart, It's all it sucks because I have to go to 20 different places to get stuff, as to where in Indiana it was one-stop shop. But so it's kind of there's no option. Walmart couldn't fit here in West Hollywood.
Man, Walmart's humongous. Now, did you have a problem with the big stores coming in and killing the little shops in downtown and just making it a vacant, a ghost town down there?
It's really sad. What's in Woodburn, Indiana, even, we had the cutest little grocery store just forever. And the closest, Walmart and everything was about half an hour, 45 minutes away. So, most people, they would go to Walmart maybe once a week or so. But if they just needed bread, eggs, whatever, random things, they go to this little grocery store. And then a Dollar General came in. And that grocery store that had been there all of my life, and, way before that, closed down within months after Dollar General came. It was amazing.
Yeah, because I know that driving through the country, you see that a lot. You see a lot of downtowns that are just nothing left in there, and it is really sad. And I understand that people need to get stuff cheap, especially these days, or times are tough. But it's just a shame to see the downtown turn into a ghost town with just a bunch of open businesses and open storefronts, and everybody just muddling around that Walmart with their. There's some Walmarts that have actually cities in their parking lots.
They have what in the parking lot?
They have cities of people who live in the parking lots of Walmarts in what do they call them, Winnebagos, and just there's cities of people. They just sit there and they kind of support the Walmart.
What? No way.
Yeah. It's weird. It's really weird.
Crazy. That's crazy weird.
That's just surreal to me. It's very weird. Very weird.
It's like that one bus.
Walmart parking lot. How could you live in a fucking Walmart parking lot? You know what I mean? A trailer park is one thing. There's a need for trailer parks. People talk shit about white trash living in trailer parks, but you know what? They can have a community there, and not everybody who lives in a trailer it's white trash. But when you live in a freaking Walmart parking lot, it's going to be tough to argue against being a little bit weird. A little bit weird.
Yeah, that's fun. I always told people, I always said, I'd rather live in a trailer than in an apartment. And they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, no, because a trailer, you get your own parking still. Well, at least in Indiana you could. And you have your own, it's your own place. You have your own yard and everything. And an apartment, you have people door to door. You can't.
You're absolutely right about that, yeah. I'll tell you what.
But, I never did have to go do that, but if I would have had to, then I would have picked a trailer, man. I don't know what people are thinking with these apartments.
Yeah, I can relate that, because I live in an apartment. It's a nice apartment, but I've got two different families. One family lives over my living room and kitchen, and then I've got another family that lives over my bedroom, and because I have a couple bedrooms, and they both have kids and they both have dogs, and sometimes it's like I live in hell, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm downstairs and they're The other day, the neighbor girl was standing outside of her front door going, caw, 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 I'm a hawk, Grandma, I'm a hawk, for like 10 minutes.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, somebody shoot me. Driving me crazy. I like kids, but I just don't like the noise they make. Make a lot of noise.
Right.
Especially when they have a dog, and the dog likes to play ball, and they live over your bedroom, you know? So I can always get them back by having a real loud sex, I guess. That'll show them.
I know.
All right, what else we got? Do you have anything going on that you want to promote while we're on here?
Oh gosh, not really, not right now. I just got done shooting a movie called Not Another Celebrity Movie. It's supposed to be in theaters later this year. I play myself.
Cool.
And my part's right at the beginning too. So if people don't like the movie, at least before they walk out or before they turn it off, they'll see my part in the first 15 to 20 minutes. And then I just shot a pilot for a television show, so we'll see if that gets picked up or not. I guess something like only 1 out of 500 television shows gets picked up, so that was a little bit disappointing to hear that. But it was still really cool to shoot and have that from my reel, regardless of what happens. Yeah. And other than that, I did that music video that's free on my YouTube channel. My YouTube is official Bree Olson 9. But people can go straight to my Twitter. My Twitter is just @Bree Olson.
Your Twitter is off the hook.
I'm doing, it's crazy.
That Twitter is fucking nuts. It is crazy. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, my Twitter, it's like, no matter what, Twitter's the best invention ever, because I don't think I'd be nearly as in touch with my fans as I am with Twitter. It's because it's so easy,
It is.
And people don't think that I see all that because they're like, oh, there's no way, she has over 360,000 followers, she won't ever see what I say. But I do, and people actually almost never write me because I think they're under that impression that I won't see. But I see every single thing that people write. But it's so nice because you have to keep it under 160 characters, so it's very easy to skim through and to see everything everyone writes.
Yeah.
And so it's just nice. It's a nice base of, like, everything that's going on. So my Twitter is just @Bree Olson. And like I said, my links to everything that I do are on there. And, Yeah, if you Google it, I guess it comes up first on the search. So. Yeah, Twitter's a good place to be. You are all over that, too. I'm impressed with that. That's kind of, man. I mean, that's a lot. Yeah, it's still a lot to read. Even if nobody's writing you, it's still a lot to read. It's a lot. Yeah, I mean, imagine, like, even just if 1% is writing me every day, it's still, but, my phone never leaves my hand, so it's really easy. Yeah. It's funny because I remember when I didn't have a cell phone. I don't remember how I survived without it. Just weird. It's funny. I know. I don't know what I did. I know. What did people do? I mean, holy crap. I mean, can you imagine now not somebody being able to call you at any time that they need to? What the hell? Especially driving. Be out of touch for an hour. Gosh. My daughter would just shrivel up and die. She can't even go from one room into another in the apartment without her. She goes, "Oh my God, my phone!" She'd run back to her bedroom and grab her phone. It's like, Christ, what's going on with that? It's funny. It's very strange how it's changed. It's going to get worse. I can't believe what they can do. Definitely. Yeah, I can't believe that you can watch movies on them now, and they've got those projection screens where you can just project the movie right there in the middle of the room. It's weird. Oh, I know. Oh, gosh, my assistant, she was making fun of me because in Indiana, I built a custom house out there, and I have 9 televisions, a whole bunch of computers, my iPads, my iPod, everything, and I was sitting there watching TV on my phone, and she was like, she took a picture of me watching TV on my phone and put it on Twitter. That's she was funny. Like, 9 TVs, 5 computers, 3 iPads, and going down the list of everything that I have. And she's like, and she's still watching TV on her phone. Old habit. Yeah, I'm lazy. That's funny.
Hey, are you on Facebook too or no?
No, I'm not a big face. I do have one, but it's so irrelevant. I never get on it. So it's just
Because I was looking for you on there, and I found a couple places where there's like pictures and a bunch of idiots making comments. Do you ever get tired of just idiots who just say just stupid ass shit to you? It's like.
Yeah, but I get them pretty good. Like this guy, he Twittered yesterday, and he was like, "Hey everyone, let's guess what's inside Bree Olson," and I was like, "A tampon, game over."
Yeah, I saw that today. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, they were, and so many people retweeted it and everything. But I was like, so most of the time I just ignore and pass over it, and I try to just give people that are, being positive. I try to give them, it's like positive reinforcement. If you pay attention to the people that are being good, then the other people that are being negative, they're like, oh, I get it now. She's not going to pay attention to me until I start, saying good things. And most of the time it works. My Twitter's turned around a lot compared to what it used to be just in this last year.
Twitter can be ruthless. If you don't know what you're doing, if somebody comes in there and says something that's the wrong thing, you can just crush somebody, and you get things started, and you can get rid of them right away. But I know that, like I was looking at the Facebook, I was like, some of the things that the guys say, it's just like, what the fuck are you guys thinking? Shut the hell up. It's rude.
I know.
It's amazing.
Well, it's like, and people get so brave to say it.
I know.
To say things when they're behind a computer screen.
Yep, I know that well. It's some things that they would never say to your face in a million years. You can think enough to say it, but you get that keyboard in front of them, man, they're just going to talk some shit all day long. So I thought it was kind of creepy because I think that sometimes the internet, you see the real people. The real way people think because they got that anonymity thing going on. They know that they're not going to be accountable, so they kind of do the things that they wouldn't normally be able to do, but they really want to. It's just kind of creepy sometimes.
Yeah.
But you see the other side too. There's a lot of positive out there too. And you're right. If you do support the positive, then it's gonna grow more than that idiot factor that's out there.
And then it's so awesome. My die-hard Twitter followers, the ones that I talk to almost every day on a regular basis, they will just attack people that say something really bad, and they will just go at them. It's like I have an army of Twitter people going after other people, and they'll just fight amongst themselves. It could be something I never even get involved in.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just feel like I'm just watching over all of this. Like, oh, I can't believe these people are all I have my defending army and everything. It's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we're coming up on the end of time, and I want to thank you first of all for hanging out with me. I can't believe you're so nice that you're an atheist too. I just can't believe it. So weird.
We do what we can.
So weird, It's so weird that an atheist would be a nice person. It's just a really normal, nice person, isn't it?
I know it.
I know. It's just weird. We're supposed to be mean. Now,
we're so vicious.
Yeah. If there was something that you could, is there something you'd like to leave the listening audience with? Some type of last words or advice or?
Oh gosh, I'm so corny. Hold on, let me. I just went through about 20 different things in my head. I'm like, no, next. Don't forget to spay and neuter.
You sound like Bob Barker now.
I'm going Bob Barker on y'all.
Good old Bob Barker.
Bob's not there to say it anymore. I have to carry on his message.
Yeah. I miss Bob.
I know.
Yeah.
Fucking Drew.
Yeah, Drew's cool, but is he looking like Bob Barker a little bit these days?
I think so. I haven't seen him in a while.
You got to take a look at him, watch him, and see what you think. Because I think he might be making a change.
He's like anyone in Bob's place.
I'm telling you, he looks way different. He looks way different. It's creepy.
It is.
I'm not saying that it's bad. Okay, so Drew, I'm not saying it's bad, dude, but it's a little bit weird. The changes you've gone through just don't seem like it's maybe not naturally told.
The Price is Right just does that to you.
Man, that show's been on forever.
It sure has. Wow.
Forever, and it's still hard to get tickets for it too.
Where's it at? Is it here in California?
Yeah, it's down where you are, I think. Because one of the guys who works for me, he wanted to go see 2.5 Men, but he couldn't get tickets for that. And Ashton Kutcher's a dickhead anyways. And so he was going to get Price is Right, but he couldn't get that. What did he end up going to? I don't even remember now. It's just so weird that's the way you get tickets for those shows.
How do you get tickets for them?
you have to be the first one to get them, and then you have to be the first one to get there to get a seat, and it's just like a double lottery or triple lottery going on.
Oh, no way, you're kidding. Well, no wonder I've never been to one. I don't want to go through all that.
Yeah, you gotta.
Those are like diehard tourists that want to.
Yeah, exactly. People are staying overnight to get in.
Oh, ew, no way.
And I'm sorry, I just don't. There's no TV show that I like so much that I'm going to spend the night waiting for it.
I would totally do that for Breaking Bad. I would totally do it. It's not a live show, but I would do it just if it was a live show.
Yeah.
I would like camp out for a week.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd get my canteen.
That's funny.
Bring my cats.
Okay, I got to ask you a couple more things before I let you go, if that's okay. You got time?
No problem.
Who's your favorite porn star?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I've been out for 2 years, so it's like I don't even know who's in it anymore. You know who I like? I like Alexis Ford. But I don't see her movies, though. But as a personality, just like of the girls I know that I know still do it, I really like her. And she's really pretty, too.
Now, you're retired now, right? Done, retired.
Yeah, 2 years now.
We probably should have made that point, because seems like there's still people asking that fucking question. And I thought it was done deal, but...
Dude, it's never. People call me a porn star every day. I just finally let it go. I used to try to fight it and get really defensive over it, but I'm like, well, first of all, I have to do something big enough to overcome that, and that's a lot of years to undo. You know, to get that title removed and get a new one. So I'm like, well, you know, it just motivates me more.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Bree, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, take it easy.
All
right. Good night.
There you go. I'd like to thank Bree for hanging out with me. It's very cool of her to spend some time hanging out and talking about atheism and all kinds of other random crap. Hope I didn't bore her too much. Or you. And I want to thank you for listening. Don't forget to share the podcast with your friends, neighbors, and your worst enemies. And you can find me on Facebook, Reap Payton. You can find me there. And if you'd like to be a guest, or you know someone who'd like to be a guest on the podcast, feel free to contact me at atheist@angryatheist.info. And that is not for hate mail. All right, you can send me hate mail there if you want to. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. Bring it on. It's not like I haven't gone through it before. All right, I'll see you